So tonight's webinar is going to be new for us. Uh, Usually we've been doing a lot of fishing webinars, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And our other passion and our guide service that we offer is waterfowl hunting in New Jersey, on the historic Barnegat Bay and along the Jersey Shore, as well as North Jersey up in the Meadowlands, depending on the season. I'm here with Captain Mike Bell. Our company is called Real Fowl Outfitters and Fin Chaser Charters. Uh, there's myself over there, Captain Anthony Grassi. Captain Mike is next to me, who's going to share some input on some of the tips of using the Navionics app while waterfowl hunting. It's really it's the number one app for boaters, fishermen, and I think there's a lot of use with hunters as well. And if you're just a hunter and you're not a fishing, boating person, you might not be exposed to Navionics. So that's why I decided to do a webinar on maybe the usefulness of this app and with waterfowl hunting. If you have any questions, just hit the questions tab and write it down, and we'll check from time to time and hopefully answer your questions during the presentation or towards the end. If we don't get a chance to answer your question, make sure you email me at finchaser@gmail.com. That's FINCHASERNJ@gmail.com. So, can apps make you a better hunter, fisherman, or boater? And, like it or not, in this day and age, our mobile devices are one of our valuable assets to our everyday lives. I was talking to somebody the other day who didn't have their phone with them. They left it home and they felt empty. So we're using our phones more and more for communication, texting, resources for information, and also to assist us in our sporting life. And as you could see in the picture here, you see many different devices that the Navionics app is available. We're also going to talk a little bit about other apps that we use in our hunting lives, and then we're going to talk more about the Navionics app and how we use it. But our phones right now is an essential part of us, just like clothing and food and shelter. So most of our phones are on either an iOS system that you would, Apple products, or Android applications. So the two main stores that you would either go to is the Google Play or the App Store or Apple Store to get or find your apps that you're going to download. So first thing about looking at different apps is paid versus free. And in one of my presentations that I do for boating, I talk a lot about, for example, knot tying. A free app with knot tying might, give you instructions on how to tie 4 or 5 popular knots. But if you get a paid version, maybe $2.99 or $4.99, you may have access to hundreds of different knots. And also you'd get more features. And the best part is no advertising. Most free apps, and the reason why they're free is because they are advertising, and it's a direct advertisement because advertisers will pay to advertise their products on these apps because they know this is the topic that you're interested in. But most apps will give you a free taste. They'll dangle that little carrot to get you interested in it, and then try to upgrade you to a paid version of the app. And that's also with the Navionics app, and we're going to talk about that as well. But we're going to share one of the apps that we really like to use, and almost every state, wherever you're located, has usually a state fish, game, and wildlife app that will assist you with all the information for hunting, fishing rules, regulations, licensing details. And what's nice about it is you're getting instant changes, updates. So if a season closes early, or if an additional season is added, you'll get alerts, and it helps you stay within the rules of the state. New Jersey's app is great because also you could find all the different wildlife management areas. If there's special rules in those wildlife management areas, you're always staying within the law. And these apps are generally free. The other one that we like is the Ducks Unlimited one. It's geared more towards waterfowl hunting. And what we like about that is it gives you access to a waterfowl journal, which allows you, to input your day's, events, how many birds you took, and things like that. It also will give you migration reports, helps you ID waterfowl. Again, the journal is always a good thing. We like to, keep a journal. Fishing is very important for us, as well as when we're guiding for hunting, because we could always look back in our past history, and if things are similar with weather, temperature, the moon phases, tide phases, it'll give us a good indication of where we might locate birds. And also the season bag limits by state, and interesting to see band recovery maps. So the retail apps too, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, most large big box retail stores have apps, to order, and also too for beginning outdoorsmen, they have a lot of how-to do-it-yourself videos that assist you with purchasing different products. So Mike and I were sitting here for about an hour before this webinar started, and we were going over, some of our dates that we're booking this winter, and also one of the great features that's accessible by everybody is the interactive web app. And if you just go to Navionics.com, there's the web app. You could click on it, and you could access really a nice all the United States as well as other countries, and you're able to use almost like the chart plotter that you would use on your phone or on your iPad or on your fish finder, that you have on your chart plotter that you would have on your boat. And one of the great things, if you're sitting in the office during the week or at work and you want to scout some new areas, this is a good place to start. It's free. It gives you an idea of areas, and it also has satellite overlay, but it doesn't have all the same features as you would get on the paid apps, like markers, weather and tide, syncing capability with your other devices. Once you pay for your app, you'll then sign in onto the Navionics website, and there you'll be able to sync all your devices. So if you put waypoints on your cell phone, and another day you put waypoints on your iPad or tablet, you'd be able to access those waypoints on all your devices. Once you download the app for your phone, it's a different subscription for your iPad as well. So you would then be able to sync all your devices together, which is great, because When you're out in the field, you could place waypoints, and then when you come back, you could sync it with your computer. So you can get it for free, the Navionics app. You just go either into the Google Play or the App Store. And some of the features that you're going to get with this is right off the bat, you're going to get basic nautical charts. And one of the reasons why we were talking to other boaters and waterfowl hunters, because of our specific boats usually don't carry, $2,000 chart plotters on them. And many of our boats have no navigation abilities at all, except knowing the area in which you're going to. So on your phone, you're able to have a miniature GPS like you would have any type of expensive chart plotter that you would purchase in a boating store. And you would have a lot of the same abilities, other than having sonar. And we'll talk about that later, because there is actually a sonar module that you could attach to your mobile devices. But you're going to get the ability of having nautical charts, and as well as sonar charts. Nautical charts being better for navigating. And then the sonar charts are going to give you 1 foot contour details. And that could be important when you're looking for very specific areas to put out your decoy spreads. Now, another thing, and Mike will give you a little input about this, is community edits. And when I was asking Mike a question, which was, how do you find how do you find boating ramps or new places to access areas that you kind of scout in the early season?
Satellite photos.
So you're using
the satellite overlay on the app is great for finding new ramps.
Okay, and the ramps that we're primarily looking for aren't these big,
They're small ramps,
right?
Not popular at all.
Not popular at all.
No one wants to talk about them really either, unfortunately.
Okay.
So this helps a lot.
So the app will help you locate some of these ramps that are close to some of the wildlife refuges,
right.
And that you're able to hunt near. And here's like a typical small ramp that you can access. But it also has community edits, being people that are local are adding seasonal things like buoy markers. Sometimes the Coast Guard takes out some of the navigational aids in the winter, and here you'll be able to have locations of these buoy markers. Maybe after a storm, something might be exposed, rocks, moorings, and also, places to eat, marinas, pretty much anything a person could add to their chart. And then it goes to a whole community. So everybody will get to have some access to this and be able to use it. Another great aspect of this is sonar charting. And here's a great example. When in addition to a sonar module, or even like a small inexpensive fish finder, like a chart plotter fish finder combo, like a Raymarine Dragonfly, for anywhere from $200 to $500, you're getting Wi-Fi capability, as well as being able to do sonar charting. And this helps us when we're doing some scouting in the beginning of the year, like areas that on any other chart or any map you wouldn't see contours. And once you go over those waterways, as you can see in the picture on the left, you're going to start building up a sonar chart. And here's an example in a wildlife area that we hunt, a management area, and you could see where we went through with our boat, and it is now uploaded. So this center picture, we actually used, if you went on the web app, you'd be able to see it because our information was then uploaded, and then it's now accessible by everybody. Also on the right-hand side, you'll see what my phone looked like when it was doing that live sonar charting event. So this really helps because now areas that you don't really know the depths of uh, those areas, now you'll have a better idea of where you're fishing, fishing and hunting. And this includes the freshest data. So all these community edits and sonar logs are uploaded, and Navionics does over 2,000 updates to their charts daily. So for the outdoorsman, if you're kayaking, fishing, hunting, whatever, this gives you a better detail. With most of the apps, you would get 1 year unlimited updates, and then after a year, you could then pay, I think it's $4.99 to get an additional, to keep it going for an additional year. And especially after these storms, when Sandy hit New Jersey, I spent a lot of time on the bay doing these logging events so that we would update, the charts for people that are going to go use them. Now in North Carolina, after Florence hit, you know, once the people are going to get out, a lot of the inlets have changed, a lot of the back water areas have changed, and this will give you the most updated data available. So that's a good advantage of being part of the Navionics family. And Mike and I were talking about dock-to-dock auto routing. And a lot of times when you're going from some of these smaller ramps and into these areas that are a lot of sedge island areas, have very narrow channels, you're able to put your marker when you make the route. You're going to do automatic route. You would put it on the starting point, and then you would put where you want to end up. And instead of the old school GPSs and plotters would just draw a straight line across land, it didn't differentiate from the waterways. So once you input your watercraft, the size of it, the draft, how deep the draft is, and the speed and everything. Once you click this and click that, it's going to give you a safe passage route, as you could see, to your area. And Mike, where did you find that this was helpful?
It helps a lot when you're hunting new areas, even some older areas you hunted before but don't really know that well.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a lifesaver in those situations.
And the great part is, when you're leaving in the dark and coming back in the dark, it'll at least give you safe passage, that you're in a good area.
It's peace of mind for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And what's nice about it too is if there are along the route, if there's anything that's dangerous, like a low bridge or a no speed zone, no wake zone, you it would highlight on the chart so that you could see, hey, this area you got to slow down, or there's danger ahead. The channel narrows, or it's at that time it's not safe to pass. So this is a really great feature, having dock-to-dock auto routing. And again, it creates a quick, detailed route, and it'll give you an idea how long it'll take at the speed you get going. And also, if you add in fuel consumption, it'll also tell you how much fuel you burn going to and from that area. So satellite overlay. And Mike, if I'd have to ask you, what's the most important feature that you like on the app, what would it be?
It's definitely a satellite overlay.
And
I use it for scouting from home all the time.
Okay.
Like pre-scouting areas that I'm going to go scout in a couple of days or even that day.
Okay, so like hunting in New Jersey, for example, there's a lot of areas that have houses and businesses along the waterway. So it's what we have to do is spend a lot of time looking at these charts and finding areas that are accessible. and also that we're legally able to hunt. So having the satellite overlay images are very important. It also helps you find even some waterway areas, some nooks and crannies that may not be on the chart, but you could see because of the satellite image. And again, this is a larger view of that one area that was all these red dots prior to me going over the area and actually uploading the depths of that area. So being able to look at the satellite view is great, and also gives you an idea of what what's there. So you could scout, you could pinpoint some of your put some markers down, and then during the weekend before the season opens, you're able to go out and go to these different markers that you put down, and if you like the area, you make it a waypoint, and you can name it, and you could put a note to it saying, what you think is going to be, this area is going to be good for. Also, too, isolating contours is also a great aspect of this. You could actually isolate a certain depth range, and as you could see along this shoreline, we wanted an area that was between 17 and 20 feet. So and then the area shallow before that, so we know where we could put our decoys along an edge, but yet we wanted the deeper water if we're hunting a specific species of birds. So and it'll allow you to concentrate in those areas instead of having to go search for them. Another great feature that has been recently available is the color shading. Now, Mike, with depth, what are your favorite depths to hunt, and tell me what species you like to hunt in those depths.
If I'm brant hunting, I like to be from 0 to 5 feet at high tide. Because
Okay.
brant are going to feed in super shallow water at low tide.
All right. So we're looking for those areas 0 to 5 feet. They're shallow. We highlighted them in the red, as you could see right here. So these would be areas that we would concentrate on if we were brant hunting, because we know these are going to be those potential areas that they would come feeding areas. Now, what do brant like to feed?
They feed on grasses like eelgrass and sea lettuce.
Okay, so
green vegetation.
Okay, and those are generally found in these shallow water. So now, instead of running around a large body of water, we're concentrating on very specific areas when we're doing our scouting. So this is a great feature, to use. You have 5 different colors that you could put for depths up to 300 feet, which is more than enough for most of us inshore outdoors people. And again, you could isolate different colors, knowing that these birds are going to be located in those areas. Now, what would you say, Mike, is the most important aspect of weather and tides?
Wind direction is super important for waterfowl hunting.
Okay, so what are you looking for when you get to that boat ramp? What wind direction are you looking for in a spot? Like, if you're going to look for a spot, where do you want that wind to?
Well, I want the birds to be able to land into the wind, into my decoy spray.
Okay, so being able to have wind direction is important. What about currents? The speed of currents.
Current is really important when hunting puddle ducks. They like more protected water, slower moving water.
Okay, so we're looking for the slower current and with the tidal changes. And then what about tides?
Tides, again, back to brant, and even with some divers like canvasbacks and broadbills are better in areas at falling tides.
Okay, so we're looking for falling tides. So we know where most of us are hunting, at sunrise and towards sunset, but also during the day, we're also concentrating on certain areas because of the tidal changes. And most of the areas that we hunt on the coast have, very different tidal changes. So if we know a tide is going to be a falling tide in a certain area, we're gonna that's where we're gonna tell our clients to meet us, because then it'll be the optimum conditions with the wind direction, tide direction. A lot of times we won't tell our clients till the night before, or maybe the day before, what area we're gonna hunt, because we're constantly looking at all this data. And having weather and tides at your fingertips is great. Um, just the tide portion of it, there are tide markers throughout all the waterways, and you just touch on it and it'll give you a detailed tides. And then you could slide your cursor across and you could see different days. So you could see, weeks ahead if you're planning a hunt at the end of the week. You could also save different locations. So, like location 1 could be the North Barnegat Bay. Location 2 could be Barnegat Inlet. 3 could be Tuckerton, um, Atlantic City, or up in the Meadowlands. So we could have different locations that are our favorites. We could favorite these and then also create the information that we're looking for. Like you would see location 1 on the right side of the screen. It gives you, importantly, sunrise and sunset, wind direction, and then we're the different tides in that area. Here's an example of wind forecasts. So it's giving you timed wind speeds and also in wind directions. It was kind of interesting looking at the hurricane as it was making landfall. I was able to see on the app that tight circle, all these wind markers had all the lines for hurricane. They were red to show the speed. So this gives you at least a detailed wind direction for the day. So important, very important feature that we've used is direction of distance of where we're hunting and to being in near an occupied home or any type of occupied building. In New Jersey, you have to be 400. You can't be within 450 feet of an occupied building, and that could be anything, any structure. We try to stay more than 500 feet so that at least we give ourselves a little leeway. Mike, how's this been, important for you when guiding?
It helps a lot not having to keep a rangefinder in the boat that's going to get wet and ruined. Being able to measure it right on my phone is a big help for sure.
Right, and just a quick experience story. Opening day last year, Thanksgiving morning. We were hunting an area that people hunt all the time, and the local police came out. And as we were collecting our birds, I saw the local police officer waving us down. And we went to the dock, and he said, "Oh, you guys are too close to the houses." And I said, "No, officer, we're within safe area." I showed him my marker and then where the building was, and I showed him the distance. And because we had this technology on the boat, he was a police officer, so he didn't know all the rules. So I educated him a little bit about what the law was in New Jersey, and that we were more than 100 feet of safe distance that is allowable. And it's a great feature to have, because at your fingertips you could make sure where you are, you're in a safe area to hunt. Also, when we're doing group hunts, when we have more than one boat out, we will mark where we are, each one of us, so that we know we have a good distance and a safe shooting range when we're out in the same area. Or if we see other hunters, I see a hunter, I could pinpoint them and then I can make sure that I give them, plenty of distance. But this is a really great feature, right at your fingertips, on your phone. Um, Another thing, having the syncing capability. So if you're putting routes and markers on one of your devices, you'll be able to share them with other devices. If you have a chart plotter on your boat, or sneak box, or you're just using a phone or an iPad or tablet. Nowadays with the waterproof tablet cases, you're able to keep, you're having the ability of marking things, and then when you get back, you could upload your information so that you're keeping them together. Also, you're able to sync them with other friends. So when I'm on a hunt today and I want to show Mike where I was and what I'm doing, I could always transfer my routes and markers to him so that he could see where I was. Another great thing we were talking about before, having the sonar. Not every duck boat. A lot of times they're John boats and small aluminum boats, and they don't have fancy navigation systems on it. So this module called the WeFish just has this little module that you can hide, and then it has a transducer that you put on the back of the boat, and then you're using your device as a sonar. So you're able to do with chirp, you're able to have bottom contour. On the right, you see the phone there with down vision, but it also has a sonar, typical sonar as well. So now, in addition with this, and this unit I think is a little over $100, you with the Navionics app and this, you have yourself a multifunction device that you could use for kayaks, SUPs, small boats, again, small duck boats and stuff like that. So this really works well. There's other companies. Vexlar makes one, a small one that you will also have Bluetooth to as well. And this unit has Wi-Fi as well, so you're able to do downloads and stuff with it. So I know this was kind of a quick one. We just pretty much talked about using the Navionics app for waterfowl hunting, but again, you could use it if you guys or ladies or kayakers, or you fish on SUPs. I mean, the app, it's just a great ability to have this amount of information at your fingertips. If you have any questions, place it in the questions box. And if not, again, you could email us at finchaserNJ@gmail.com. We still have a few available dates if you want to come out and take advantage of some great brant hunts that we have. Last year was just a phenomenal year for us. Getting our limit pretty quickly and then concentrating on other types of ducks. Last year, what was your favorite, other than brant, favorite ducks to hunt?
Canvasbacks and broadbills, definitely.
Yeah, so broadbills. We had pretty good action with those
Yeah.
broadbills last year. And the one important thing is being able to have scouting abilities. Being able to go out during the week, finding the flights, seeing where the birds are going, where they're feeding. Those very specific areas. But if you have any questions, put them you could type a question in. If not, again, you could email us at finchaserNJ@gmail.com, or give us a call at 848-221-0093. Also, take advantage of, Navionics website also has upcoming webinars. Some bass pros like Josh Douglas are doing some. There are some saltwater ones, boating ones, sailing, every type of imaginable water sport that there is. You could find yourself a webinar on it. So just log on. They're all free. And you could enjoy them from your home instead of having to go out on a rainy evening. You could just enjoy them. Also, most of these webinars are all recorded so that you could watch ones that have been logged in that were done previously. You could go through them and see if there's any of them that are interested to you. All right, I appreciate everybody that's attended tonight, and look for some of our future hunting webinars. All right, have a great evening.